Well, folks, it's another episode of the Soul Sessions. I am your host, Soul, but with me today, she is the newly crowned ICW Women's World Champion, Rhio. Welcome to the show, Rhio.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. But so, our fans who might not be familiar with yourself, Rhio, how did you fall in love with wrestling to begin with?
I think my story is pretty much the same as everyone else, or like a lot of people. I started watching it when I was a kid. I used to watch it with my dad, and then I've always loved sports, and I've always been like one of the more aggressive ones in sports. I don't know if you could tell, but like I always wanted to kind of join like a rugby team or whatever. But like when I was younger, girls weren't really allowed in the rugby team, so I did football and other sports. And I thought when I watched wrestling, I was like, I think that's something I want to do. So I've done like martial arts as well. So I was like, no, let me try that. Let me have a look at that. So I think I was 19 when I saw that there's a school opened up in Preston. So I thought I'll go along, and I didn't really expect too much. I just thought, well, I might like it, I might not. I'm not sure, but and then 8 years down the line, here we are still.
Exactly. Well, you've done well for yourself. Going into training for yourself, not having that background in rugby and sports, like combat sports, do you feel like that really helped you settling into wrestling training?
Definitely, yeah. I think if you've got like experience in any kind of sport, it's always good because as kind of weird as it feels to say, like it isn't a cliche when you do sports, especially when you do them when you're younger. I think you do get that discipline. Not that you know at the time that it's discipline, but I think you do kind of get like when you're doing your lessons or your sessions or whatever, you do develop that kind of discipline to want more. So you like your discipline because to get to your next level or your next belt or to get to the next stage, whatever that might be. You're gonna have to put like such amount of work in to get there. So I think doing sports when you're younger sets you up for any kind of sport when you're older. So, but yeah, especially doing combat things like martial arts and stuff, it made it a lot easier going in for taking bumps and
Of
taking
course.
strikes and stuff.
Of course, a good jumping off point. But obviously, us fans and even wrestlers themselves, we fall in love with it through the performers. And I know you've listed 5 performers that you felt helped you fall in love with wrestling, being Stone Cold, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy, Jericho, and Bull Nakano. I was wondering, what about those 5 individuals precisely made you fall in love with wrestling?
I think it's a combination of like character, creativity. I mean, Bull Nakano, especially, like I know with her, like as soon as I saw her, I was like, she's like a larger than life character. Like, a lot of the women were slimmer builds, they were kind of like swimsuit, bikini model kind of thing. So then, and I've always known that's not really my body type, to be fair. I don't sit well at that body type. So it was nice to see someone bigger. And then the stuff she was doing, I was like, oh wow, like she's just destroying people. So like I think I fell in love with like her physicality and her look. And then like, Eddie Guerrero, it's character, and Jeff Hardy, it's whether Eddie's like the cheeky character, and I love like Latino heat and things like that. And then like Jeff Hardy, it's his craziness. I just loved when you watch him, you just never knew what you were gonna you could never expect anything from Jeff Hardy. It's always just, you can tell he just goes out there, does what he wants, has the time of his life. And and then like Stone Cold, I'd say his I don't care mentality. He does what he wants, and if you don't like it, he just really doesn't care. So I think that with him. And then Jericho, I mean, it's his just ability, his creativity, his ability to do, like, I feel like Jericho must wake up in the morning, think of something, and he makes it work. And I've just never known someone be able to like have so many ideas, and you just see like the cogs turning with him. And I think he's just so good at being able to evolve. So that each of them had different points. Some like crossed over, but they were like the main points for them 5.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And you mentioned creative mindset as well. I'm wondering yourself, really, you wake up and have that creative energy to always making something and doing something. When you put that into the ring as well, do you feel like that's something that's a good motivation for you? That creative mindset.
Definitely, yeah. I love the idea of kind of being unpredictable. So having that thought process of being different and having the creativity to do that. And I think it stops me getting bored, it stops other people getting bored. I think if wrestling was to be the same and we was to see the same thing over and over and over again, you do have that chance of getting bored, don't you? Because it's essentially the same thing. So the more creative you can be, the fresher wrestling seems for everybody. And I don't know, I like evolving. I don't like staying the same. I like to evolve in one way or another. So I think to do that, you need to really like think outside the box sometimes and really just try and just try an idea. It's, you know, trial and error. Give it a try. It might not work. Okay, at least I know I've tried. But then if it does work, perfect.
Yeah, because you never know what kind of idea you're going to scrounge up that could be a massive hit. Might be because
That's
someone else
it, yeah.
Now, and obviously, you mentioned you've been doing this for 8 years in the UK, and the UK's ended the whole scene has changed even in the last year. But I know you had some experience with NXT UK and WWE and their training process there. And I know there's a cool image of you next to the wrestling icon himself, William Regal. I just want to know, what kind of knowledge did you gain from someone of Regal stature?
Oh, you know what? There's not even enough words to say. Like, he's one of those, again, like with the creative mindset and like the things like that. Like, he'll have some like a point, and then he can still talk about that same point like 4 hours later, but he's just literally stripped it every point back so you can fully understand it. You know, like I think some people sometimes, if they say something, they don't fully explain it to you. And me, I'm quite a visual person, but then also if you are explaining something to me, I really want to understand it. So sometimes from the first get-go, I might be a bit like, I don't really get what you mean. But then with him, he's like, okay, so this, and this. And then from that point, something else goes in his head. So then he breaks that down and then breaks that down. And it just keeps going. So it's incredible. Like if I could literally sit and listen to him for days, I think he could just keep talking for days. But it's all stuff that you're just trying to keep in your head. But unfortunately, it gets that much stuff that you just think, I'm starting to lose it now. Like I can't take it anymore.
It's just a big old information overload. It's like it's so much great knowledge, but I can only retain so much.
100%, yeah. If I could just record him, that would be easy. And I could keep playing it back.
Very much so. And obviously, you know, that was whole NXT UK. And I just want to know for yourself, you know, growing up and watching wrestling and then being involved with the WWE in some kind of aspect, what did that mean to you?
Definitely. Oh, do you know what? Like getting the opportunity, whether it's even doing extra work, you know, appearing on like Raw or SmackDown or something like that, or getting to do something more developmental like NXT or NXT UK and stuff. I think it's just the child in you's like, oh, you see the logo on stuff and you're there and you just think you're seeing everything, you know, production wise, backstage and stuff. You're like, oh, it's mind blowing. Like the child inside is just like screaming because it's just crazy. I think when you first start wrestling, like I don't know about anyone else, but me, when I first started, obviously like a goal it always has been and will be to eventually be signed so I can, you know, I can say that I've been signed and I want to have that feeling and I want to know, you know, I want to be a part of it. But like when you get the initial first kind of like email and it's like the official email from WWE, I was like, what? That is insane. Like this massive multi-billion billion-dollar company is emailing me. What is happening? So I think it's just so overwhelming. It's so crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely as well. And I know you would do a wee bit of, you know, congaing because there's a picture of you with No Way Jose. I need to know, what was that like being a part of the conga for No Way?
It was so much fun, to be fair. Like I was a bit nervous, you know. I didn't want people to judge my conga skills, you know. I was thinking, you know, I've not congaed for a long time, you know. Well, I hope I'm all right at it. I didn't want to mess it up.
Oh no, just get the moves out. We bit of the, you know, dancing playlist. You're absolutely banging it. That's perfect.
This is it.
But I know you would actually have some experience of other iconic wrestlers as well. One being D'Lo Brown as well. You know, I want to know, what was it like learning under D'Lo?
Oh, again, he's just another one again that like he's very good at explaining. I think he sees something in each person and will break it down for you and go, you know, this is this and this is this, and he's got an insight to a different kind of, you know, a different big company. So he also gives you that different perspective that they may have to WWE and stuff like that. So like you then get a different look in, which is also really interesting of how they do things and, you know, what his experiences as he was coming up and stuff. So he kind of goes through maybe like, you know, some of the maddest moments of his career and stuff. And you think, oh, okay, this was all because maybe he was the heel at this place or whatever. So it was him really like explaining his stories and telling you, you know, like, and just basically giving everyone the chance to tell theirs to him as well. He's very open, so he's like, you know, what stories do you have? And so that was really fun, really fun.
No, definitely good to hear. Is there anyone, you know, in the wrestling world that you really want to even have like a 5-minute seminar with and just learn off?
Oh, God, there's too many people. I think I don't. Oh, do you know? I think for maybe character-wise, Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be really fun. Just
yeah,
because he's obviously so good with character. I think that would just be fun, little something different.
yeah, of course. No, I mean, Bray Wyatt is an exceptional individual himself and a hell of a mindset. I mean, that'd be you need more than 5 minutes with him. You need to go down 5 day session.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
You know, we've had many people on the show before. You know, Bobby Fish and Alex Windsor, and they both talked about how it was so important for them to go over to Japan. And I know you had a wee little trip over there to do some work. Was that always something on your list to do, or do you feel like it was something that people taught you? It was like you got to go in Japan and try out this. It's very essential for your skills.
I think when I first got into wrestling, it was just something that I didn't really. I don't know, not that I didn't think was possible, but I just thought, okay, I'm in Brit Rest. Then there's Japanese wrestling, there's American, and then as I started to see like people, going over, and the swap happening and stuff, I thought, oh, okay, so that's an opportunity. And then I thought, now at the moment that I saw that other people were going to different countries and learn different stuff, and I thought, imagine having the opportunity to go to Japan and learn their way of doing it and stuff like that. And then as more I got into wrestling, more I was like, no, now that is something I want to do. So I'd say at the start, it wasn't, not that it wasn't a goal, but it just wasn't in my sights. I just didn't really think about it. But then as I started to really get into wrestling, I was like, oh no, this is something I definitely want to do. Like I want to go there and I want to learn from some of the best there. So I've been lucky to have that opportunity, thankfully.
Oh, yeah, you've definitely made well journey over there. You know, how did that whole thing come about? Was someone recommended to you, or were you just like, I'm just going to take the plunge, I'm going to go for it?
It was actually through Eve with Dan Reed. So he was basically saying, there's going to be an opportunity for some girls to go to Japan. So just like kind of send me your details, you know what I mean? Like your portfolio, and I'll send it to the office because he's got a very good working relationship with the office at Tokyo Joshi Pro. So I think it was like last year. I can't think what year. Yes, last year they must have really started to open up from COVID, because I know like Japan are a lot slower opening up the kind of restrictions than we were. So I think that was the first time they were letting anyone in for like work purposes and stuff like that. So he just said like, just send your information and I'll send it on. And from there, I was just kind of, I was at work and then I got a call from Dan and he's like, right, are you free on these dates? They want you to go. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I wasn't really prepared for it, even though I'd sent my information with the intention of wanting to go. Like when you actually get the call, I was like, oh God, okay, yeah, 100% sign me up. So
surprises all around. But I want to know, for obviously wrestling in the UK and all that, and going over to Japan, and obviously you can watch a Japanese match, but was there a bit of a culture shock for you wrestling in front of a Japanese audience?
Oh yeah, definitely different, because it's just the way they have wrestling and the way they see wrestling is just different to the fans here. So like I went over and I went out and I just thought like everyone stopped staring at you. Like sometimes here I feel like there's a lot of people on the phones and stuff, or then they'll look up and go, oh, it's the entrance and stuff, because I think there's quite a few people doing what they call like reviews and stuff. There's quite a few people doing those now. So I think, but where in Japan they don't seem to do that. It's all photo based. So they're trying to get really good pictures of you and stuff like that. But yeah, like when you're wrestling and you're hitting a move, especially again going back to the COVID and them not really, the restrictions being slow and them not allowed to voice their opinions, like cheer and boo and anything like that. And really, I think the first time I went out, even clapping, they were like, just kind of watch. So, that was really different. Because I was like, I've gone from the UK where people are at shows, they're cheering, they're booing, they're shouting. Some people having drinks, so they're even louder, having a great time and standing up and shouting at everyone, and then going to Japan where they're all sat down and it's quiet and you're like, oh God. Oh, and you could just, I don't know, it's just too silent. But it, the time after I went, after a few months and the restrictions had eased, you could then start to cheer again. So then, and clap. So it made it a lot more, like, it was a lot more like the Japan I was expecting when I went the second time, because like I said, fans could do more. So but yeah, the first time I was just like, oh, this silence is crazy.
Yeah, sort of like, oh God, what's going on here? Have I done something wrong? Am I doing something right? Hard to
That's
judge.
it, yeah.
Well, you're really on
Because
edge.
you
But
have
I
the
know
face
you.
mask on. I couldn't
Oh
tell. So,
yeah.
it's like poker face. I'm like, are they enjoying this or no?
I'm just going to put on all my best stuff I can do and see if it wings it with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly.
Exactly. But I know you would actually have a crazy opportunity in Japan. You would have a championship match against Miya Yamashita at Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. I want to know,
Yeah.
like, even going over to Japan, but having a championship match, that's got to mean a lot to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first time I went, I had a championship match with Maki Ito for
Oh,
the Tokyo
wow.
Josh Pro. Yeah, for the international princess champion. So I was like, oh, that was big. But then to do it for an E1, it was kind of the thing of like, I want to bring that home. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. I pretty much got my head kicked in. But, I live and learn. I'm not going to give up. That's me. I'm not giving up. So, you. It will happen. I will take that from you.
Exactly. We'll get the Rhio World Tour. She'll be taking championships from every country. I can see
That's
it
it.
now.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess if Lizzie doesn't take it from her before, because they got Eve next week and it's Lizzie Evo and you. So, whoever takes it, I'm coming for them. So
Well, ladies, watch out. Rio is on your radars and she's coming for you.
100%.
Oh, of course. But you mentioned Makito there. Makito has gained such a cult following as well. And she has an interesting style as well. The whole J-pop star sort of persona and everything.
Yeah.
Wrestling Maki, is that sort of an interesting clash, or is it just like any other opponent?
No, yeah, it was definitely interesting. I don't think I've ever wrestled anyone like Maki before, so it was definitely a really interesting match. But I don't know, we our styles, they went together so well. And not that I wasn't expecting it to, but when it's something different like that, I was kind of thinking, let's, open mind, let's see how this goes. And it was probably just, I don't know, I feel like we worked so well together because our styles were so different, but it didn't seem to be a problem. It
Yeah.
just seemed to flow really well. And then again, when I went the second time, we ended up being in a tag team together, which worked even better. It's like a madness, us two put together as a tag team. It's just not something you'd expect, but it is definitely something you need.
Exactly. It creates absolute magic and anarchy, and everyone should be on guard, I must say.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you can't prepare for a tag team like me and Mackie. It's just, how can you prepare for that?
Exactly. Danger all around. All women tag teams. If that reunites, careful there. Be on guard, I must say. But I know you would also do stuff with Progress Wrestling as well. They're based down in Camden with the Electric Ballroom. The Electric Ballroom and even Camden itself is such an iconic part of London as well. Wrestling, down with Progress and in the iconic area of London, quite a special moment for you must be, being such an iconic place.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, Camden's mad, isn't it? I
Oh,
love
God.
Camden. You're just walking down the street and it's like the craziest place ever. And it's like, even at certain times, like, you think things would be shut and it's just not. Like, late at night and the maddest little stalls are still open. Like, I just think it's such a crazy place, but it's so much fun to be there. And the
Oh,
Electric Ballroom is a really, really nice venue.
it is very, I've just seen pictures and all. I've not been to the Electric Ballroom myself, but I've seen it, and it's just so mesmerizing and so homely, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
What I would say is, Rio, is like, if you got a favorite arena you've performed in that just really resonates with you.
I mean, I think, especially after this past weekend, I think the Garage is now one of my favorites,
Oh,
good
the
or bad,
garage.
whether,
Oh,
controversial
the
little
garage
week
is
I've had.
it's a hell of a place. Well, let's talk about that week. Let's start off with how you got into ICW. How did that all begin for you?
I'm pretty sure like a lot of the ICW guys when I was wrestling back in Preston, they would come down, so they would kind of see me and I would ask them for feedback and stuff. So they would see me grow and develop, and then I started wrestling the girls at like Eve and stuff, and wrestling them at TNT and more places in the UK. So starting to wrestling like when you start wrestling the girls there, and they're like, okay, let's see what you've got. So I think they maybe put my name forward as well. They were like, no, I think you should maybe bring her up. Let's see what she can do. So yeah, I just got an email one day, and I thought, ooh, ICW. This is interesting. This is good because with like Preston, it's really quite easy to get to Glasgow from Preston. So there was like a lot, like I say, back when I was at Preston, there was a lot of times like the shows. I'd see them near enough every week at one point.
Mm.
So I got closer with them, and then I realized myself when I drove to Glasgow, I was like, it's really quite easy. Like you just feel like you're literally going straight road for pretty much the whole journey. So that was super easy to get. Then I didn't realize how easy it was. But yeah, like when I first got the email, I thought, oh God, hi, this is it now. People have obviously put me forward. They've looked at my work and thought to give me a try. So I can't mess this up, basically.
Wow.
And give everything I've got.
Oh, well, hey, you must have done something right because, just at the 11th annual Square Go, you would face Molly Spartan for the ICW Women's Championship. Molly had held the title for over 300 days.
Oof.
And I just want to know your mindset going into that match. You must have been like, this is a do or die moment for me. This is to prove myself, not only to the ICW crowd, but to everyone watching on Fight and just the whole world to show who I am. I can imagine the pressure.
Definitely. I mean, I think me, like anyone who follows ICW might know that Molly had said to me that she looked at me as an equal, and she shared a story where like me and her, we wrestled against each other back in Preston, and it was one of those shows where like we had to operate our own smoke machine for our entrance, and you know what I mean. The referee didn't exactly do a great job, but he wasn't really, I don't know, paying attention maybe. So that was one of those where we was like, if we can get through that, then you know what I mean, we can get through anything. So to see going from something like that to going to something like ICW together, kind of really, I mean, even though obviously separate paths to a degree, but then we'd clash with each other again at TNT, and then we'd come back to meet each other at ICW. It felt like it's not just an ICW feud, it's just one of those that we will run probably together forever. I will find her and she'll find me, no matter where we are in the world, whether it's America, Japan, Scotland, England, whatever, we will find each other. So I think it's one of those, I'm never going to get rid of her and she'll never get rid of me. So we've always got that one person we definitely know is hunting us down.
Exactly. Always tied to the hip. One way or another, you're always going to be there. But I got to talk about the match because there's one particular spot when I saw it, I was like, fuck. Just fuck. You're on. So for our viewers who have not seen the match, there's a wee spot where you go out of the ring and you go onto the balcony of the garage. You're hanging on there and you drop. You right. It's fucking insane. Just putting that. You miss the rope and you go straight onto the floor. And people on the internet reacted like with some with like shock, like whoa. Someone's like, this is awesome, and someone be like, whoa, that's too insane. But for yourself, Rhio, when you landed on the floor, look up, Molly's just there being cheeky, just like, hello. You must have been like, oh fuck. Like, just mindset for that, man. Jesus.
Well, I always know when I'm fighting Molly, I'm going to get a war. I never know. I'm never fully sure what's going to happen. And getting punched off a balcony was definitely one of those when you're like, oh, we're going to that level, are we? Okay. But one of those, I know like what she can do. We've come across each other, like what you might see here. I have a red braid in my hair, and not many people might see it and notice it. But out of all the purple, I've got one red. And that specifically was a time when I was actually part of the She-Wolves at one point in time, very briefly at TNT in Liverpool. And eventually they kicked me out, which, rude, And while doing that, while they physically beat me on the floor, they cut my braid out. And Molly still has that braid to this day. So this is this will always remind me of what she's capable of and what she's willing to do. She knows how much my braids mean to me, and just to cut it out and keep it, it's always like as if she's toying with me and she's constantly trying to play mind games with me. So yeah, being punched off a balcony, looking up and then seeing Molly Spartan screaming "Know your place" at me, I was just like, oh God, what do I have to do for this championship? Why me?
Oh, exactly. Reignite that fire. You got to fight back. You got to get your arse up and you got to lay the fucking smackdown on her and show her.
100%. And the thing is, like you say, people have gone like, oh, this is too insane. I knew when going to Insane Championship Wrestling, losing the title, I knew what to expect. I've followed ICW for years. If you think that's bad, you might want to go and watch other stuff. Like, it's really, in comparison, it's like, for how wild this clip's gone, I don't think when you look at ICW, I don't think it's the most outrageous thing that the ICW fans have ever seen. So I think that's why the ICW fans live there, they were pretty much like, they were fine because they've seen this and worse, and it's ICW. It's insane championship wrestling. So, you know, but I knew, like I say, I followed ICW. I knew exactly that at one point in time during my career with them, I'm going to have some moments where I probably, you know, rethink all my decisions in life. And that was one of them. But I'm not made of glass. You know what I mean? I go to the gym every week without fail. My nutrition's on point. And like I say, I've done sports, I've done martial arts all my life. I'm not, people make out like, you know, oh, you should be dead. No, I shouldn't. Like, I don't know about you and your bone structure, but, you know, I'm not made of glass, and I'm a tough person to beat, and you mentally and physically. So, you know, I felt like it was necessary after to do a tweet to let people know, you know, I'm alive for a start, and I'm okay. And if you want to fight me, you know exactly where I am. I'll accept everyone.
Well, exactly. Really, you're the hard hitting lass, I like to say, you know, just coming up, taking any names. But I need
This
to
is
know,
it.
yeah, exactly. I need to know though, after that match, you know, you pin Molly and you've got the championship and the crowd are just loving it. What did that mean to you with the whole history of, you know, with Molly and everything? And now you're the champion of ICW. What did that mean to you?
Do you know, it's like a full circle moment of working so hard, like following something and thinking, right, what do I need to do to get there? Because following ICW, I saw, you know, the likes of Kaylee Ray and Viper, Piper Niven now, and Alba Fire. I saw them two being the leading two women at ICW for such a long time, and I was thinking, what do I need to do to be at that level? What do I need to do to get there? And you know, I was hoping one day I would face them two as well, but obviously their careers have just they've just shot into stardom, haven't they? Which can be expected. You know, I would expect nothing less, but to know that now my name is in the same history books as them. And again, same with Molly Spartan, Casey Owens, Angel Hayes, Session Moth, all these people who've held, you know, these women that have held this championship. You know, I'm in the history books with good company, you know, with really good company. And I think when you work so hard for something and then you're given the opportunity, you've got to give it everything you've got. And then even with that, and you just, you know, like I say, when I was looking up at Molly and I was thinking, oh God, like what am I going to have to go through to get this? Like, I just want to win. And then you do, you know, it's actually, it's mad. I've not even been able to kind of stop and think about it, especially with everything going on the past week. So it's been crazy, but that was extra special because I don't think a lot of people know that my mum had come to watch me. Oh. So that was like the first time my mum had watched me for a few years, because she doesn't really like watching me wrestle. She don't mind wrestling, but I think me, understandably, she's not. She's like, nah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I will watch you. But she kind of watches like that, like yeah, like, oh God. And I was in trouble with her after the match anyway, because she was like, you could have, you know, are you crazy? You trying to kill me? And I was like, no. But having my mum there watching, she knows how much it's meant to me as well. So she knew how big the match was. She wanted to come, and to be able to hold the ICW Women's World Championship for one was, to me, like, blew my mind. And it was everything I've always wanted. But then to have my mum in the crowd watching me, I mean, it's going to be hard. So it's going to be hard for anything to top that, to be fair.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That must be so special to you. And it's just such a heartwarming thing to feel that, you know, you accomplished so much, not only for yourself, but to see your family see that as well. I couldn't imagine how much that means so much to you.
Definitely. I remember when I pinned Molly, and I was just like, the world had stopped. And I felt for that moment that, like, I didn't feel like me, you know. I was kind of looking and I was thinking, whoa. I kind of just froze. My whole system had froze, everything. And then when referee Thomas had gave me the championship, and I like looked up and I saw my mum, and I was like, whoa. It just got even crazier. And I just thought, oh, this is what I've worked so hard for. Like, this was worth every kind of pain that I got put through and everything, because that was the moment that I wanted, and I got it. So
all worth it in the end. But I must ask, you know, obviously ICW is entering a new era. You know, they were on the WWE network and then they departed, and now they're streaming exclusively on Fight. I was wondering, for yourself, being like a champion, a face, a representation for the company, do you feel like there's some extra pressure for you with ICW entering this new era?
Definitely, yeah, because, you know, I think anytime a company moves from kind of like one platform to another, there's always that thing of, you know, it's maybe new viewers that you didn't have before, or, you know, maybe it's the same viewers, but maybe their expectations are a bit different now. You're on a different platform. So it's, and having a place like ICW that's known for a standard, it's knowing that, like, you know, people are expecting something. And now, you know, there's the champions like myself and like Leighton being the world champions that are, you know, the forefront of ICW at the minute. Like, this is kind of, I mean, don't know if he feels like this, but I'm kind of feeling like us moving forward now on Fight Plus, it's on our backs. We need to carry it, you know. And KOE as the tag team champions, you know, Sakiba's the 0G champion. That's all of our responsibilities now as champions. We need to make sure that we are the ones going, this is what we represent. And we're saying to everyone else, come on, you know, we want competition, and anyone who's going to give it us, we'll fight you back just as much. You know, we want that competition, and we want to make sure that ICW, I mean, for me, I want to take ICW higher than it's ever been before. Maybe that's putting too much pressure on my own shoulders, maybe, but, you know.
Well, you got to shoot to the stars. You know, you can never just keep staying. As you said before, you always got to evolve. You know, you always got to keep driving and pushing forward. That's the main thing to do at the end of the day. But, you know, obviously ICW has some great female talent. Obviously, Molly, who you beat, you know, Casey Owens, and there's many, you know, Daisy Jenkins and Ashley Vega, who both wrestled for ICW, who've had on the show as well. I want to know, Rhio, is there anyone in the ICW's women's roster that you're looking at and thinking, worthy challenger? I cannot wait for them to try and take my title off me.
Do you know? No, again, with everyone, I think they've got such great women that I know fine well. I know I've already got Molly on Sunday. She already wants a rematch, so that's, you know, thanks for the rest. But, you know, I already know Molly, so that's another person I'll like fight her forever. Casey Owens, I'll fight her forever. Angel Hayes, I'll fight her forever. And like you say, you know, you've got Daisy Jenkins. I've not faced Daisy yet, so that would be very interesting. Ellie Armstrong, I've tagged with her, so that would be interesting if she wants to have a go. It's more than welcome in my eyes. Anyone, you know, they want to go, get in touch with ICW management, and if, you know, they give you the green light, I'll fight any of you. So
well, we are in for a treat. The Rhio tournament of challengers is on its way, it seems. I mean, hey,
bring them all. Come on.
Bring on all the challengers. But, you know, I want to ask one more thing as well. You know, one championship's never enough for people. And, you know, there's many other female champions here in the UK and abroad, you know. You know, we've had the Red Pro Women's Champion, Alex Windsor, on. I know you've had some history with Alex.
Yes.
You think you might want to try and take her title as well?
Oh, 100%, yeah. See, the thing is with Alex Windsor is I do really need to beat her, because she's literally beat me in every tournament we've been in, which is extremely painful to admit. But with, you know, again, it's one of those as an athlete and being sports, I look at it only that I'm just not good enough. When come the days that I've fought Alex Windsor in the past, I've not been good enough, and she has been the better woman, and there's nothing else I can say about that. I mean, she is a superstar. I know that anyway. Everyone who watches her knows that. But I have to beat her at some point, because I can't keep losing to her. Like, that's just not going to settle well with me. I don't do well with second place. It's never been a thing for me. So, and Alex Windsor is always going to be someone that I'm ready to fight any day. And I'm, you know, every time that I fight her, I think I know I'm better this time, but it's still not enough. I know I'm better this time. So, I mean, like, what is it? What do I have to do? But whatever it is, I will do it. One day, I will. I believe that 100%. So, yeah, Alex Windsor, I'm coming for you. Lana Austin, she already knows I'm coming for that Progress Women's Championship. She knows. I've got the key. I won the Thunder Bastard. She knows anytime that I'll strike. So she already needs to keep one eye open, because I'm watching her very closely. And even while we're at it, Debbie Keitel, OTT Women's Champion. I'm not going to let her go through either. I've never faced Debbie Keitel, and I'd love to. So, Debbie Keitel, I want yours as well.
Damn, everyone's going to be on guard now. Holy shit.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much everyone. It's just everyone.
You know, that's fair enough. You know, and we're coming to the end of our time here, and I very much appreciate all the time you've taken to come on the show. But I always like to ask our guests, you know, the dream match. Rhio, I want to know if ICW management came to you and said, hey, you could defend the title against anyone, WWE, and AEW, Impact, New Japan, anyone. Dream match, Rhio. Who are you picking?
Oh. Oh, it's so hard. I think for me, I'd have to say either Emi Sakura or Athena. They're the two
Ooh,
people I think I'd have to say them two.
that'd be a hell of a thing. And, you know, Ring of Honor's just started back up as well. So, I mean, hey, Forbidden Door, get that creaked open.
And well, you know, drop in. Let me see what it's all about. Come on, I'll fight anyone. So, but yeah, Emi Sakura, Athena, I would love to wrestle them.
Hey, you're a true fighting and defending champion, Rhio, and I feel like this reign for ICW is going to be a historic one. I cannot wait to see what happens in the future. Well, hey,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Rhio,
I plan to make it historic. I think I'm probably the most controversial women's champion. I've had the most controversial 48 hours of being a women's world champion. So I think I've already took that.
I'll start with an inferno, Rhio. Start with an inferno. That's all I got to say. You got to start hot and ready for action. Well,
this is it. We're going to start it as we mean to go on. So I'll tell you
exactly.
something.
Exactly.
Go big.
Well, hey, Rhio, I very much appreciate all the time you've taken out your day to appear on the show. You know, all our guests, Rio's Instagram description will be in the description below. Check her out. As well, ICW is all on Fight now. Check that out. You can see the fighting champion there yourselves. But, you know, I have been your host, Soul. Another episode of the Soul Sessions. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and have a lovely day.